Tommy Lee Sparta, born Leroy Russell Jr. in Montego Bay, Jamaica, rose to prominence in the dancehall scene with a sound that was dark, menacing, and wholly unique. Emerging under the wing of Vybz Kartel's Portmore empire, he quickly became known for his gothic dancehall style and haunting visuals. But beyond the music, a controversial and complex relationship with the Jamaican legal system began to unfold. Hailing from flankers, a community long associated with high levels of violence and poverty, Tommy Lee's early years were shaped by the volatile environment around him. While his rise in music was rapid, rumors of criminal connections and gang affiliations swirled from early on. His lyrical content, often laced with themes of death, demons, and street justice, only fueled speculation about the life he may have been living behind the scenes. In 2014, the first major legal headline involving Tommy Lee Sparta emerged. He was named a person of interest by the police in connection with a shooting in Flankers. Though he was never charged, the mere association marked a shift in how he was viewed, not just as an entertainer, but as someone potentially entangled in criminal activity. Soon after, he was detained and questioned by the police, though once again released. His defense was consistent. He was being targeted because of his lyrics and his association with the Gaza movement, which itself had been under scrutiny since Vybz Kartel's arrest and subsequent conviction. Despite his denials, law enforcement agencies continued to treat Tommy Lee as someone worth monitoring. Community intelligence and anonymous reports often placed him in the orbit of criminal elements operating in and around Montego Bay, particularly during a time when the city was grappling with a spike in violent crime. In 2016, he was summoned again by police, this time in relation to a wave of shootings in western Jamaica. He appeared before the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, but no charges were laid. Still, his reputation took another hit. Public opinion began to split. Some saw him as a scapegoat, a ghetto youth made good, now being vilified for artistic expression. Others believed that where there was smoke, there was fire, and pointed to his recurring name in criminal probes as evidence of deeper ties. For his part, Tommy Lee Sparta maintained a public posture of innocence. In interviews, he spoke of his transformation through music, of his desire to support his family, and of his frustration with what he called systemic profiling of dancehall artists. In July 2020, things took a more serious turn. Tommy Lee was arrested in New Kingston during a routine police operation. Officers reportedly found him in possession of an illegal firearm and ammunition. This time, the charges stuck. The firearm was a 9mm pistol discovered in a vehicle in which he was traveling. Forensic testing linked his fingerprints to the weapon. In a country with strict gun laws and a rampant problem with gun violence, the charge was no minor matter. After being remanded in custody for several months, Tommy Lee pleaded guilty in March 2021 to illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. The judge sentenced him to 3 years in prison for the firearm and 2 years for the ammunition, to be served concurrently. The sentence sent shockwaves through the dancehall community. While some expressed disappointment, others saw it as a sad but unsurprising outcome. His case reignited debates about whether dancehall glamorized violence or simply reflected a brutal reality. Even behind bars, Tommy Lee Sparta kept a grip on his musical career. His team released pre-recorded songs and managed his public image carefully. Fans flooded social media with calls for his freedom, arguing that he was being punished more harshly because of his fame. Not long after his sentencing, reports surfaced of a violent altercation in the prison. Tommy Lee was reportedly injured in a fight with another inmate. Details were limited, but the event underscored the dangers he now faced in a new, more confined world. Prison officials confirmed the incident and stated that he had been treated for injuries. While the specifics were kept from the public, the implication was clear. Even in incarceration, his life remained marked by violence and volatility. His legal team attempted to argue for early release on the basis of good behavior and health concerns, but there was little movement from the authorities. The state, it seemed, was intent on making an example out of him. Throughout his imprisonment, Tommy Lee's music took on a new tone, darker, more introspective, even philosophical at times. He released tracks that reflected on betrayal, incarceration, and loss, painting a picture of a man forced to reckon with his choices. Though he remained incarcerated, his legend grew. Fans saw him as a tortured figure, caught between his past and a potential future. Someone who had been given opportunities, but could never truly leave the streets behind. In early 2023, there were signs that his time behind bars might be nearing its end. Rumors circulated of his release, and videos of him speaking positively from inside the prison hinted at a potential turning point. When he was finally released, Tommy Lee Sparta stepped out to a different Jamaica. Dancehall had evolved in his absence, but his name still held weight. The question was no longer about what he had done, it was about what he would do next. His first post-prison interviews focused on redemption. He spoke of growth, of wanting to mentor youth, of finally understanding the price of freedom. Whether the public believed him remained a mixed bag. For some, he was a cautionary tale. For others, a survivor. In either case, Tommy Lee Sparta's criminal history would forever be part of his story, a shadow that followed the beats and bars of his most haunted tracks. Despite everything, his music endures. It speaks not only to rebellion, but to pain, regret, and survival. And in a culture where art often mirrors life, Tommy Lee's saga remains one of the most compelling in modern dancehall history.